too loud. It's a little loud, yeah. I think that's better. I'm very quiet, yeah. Dude, I want it even lower. I want like this? I think that's good. I have the old spinner. Ah, crap. Does it matter for the purposes of this stream? Oh fuck, I've just realized on my phone I'm not. Ah, okay, gotcha. I just remember that none of my hotkeys are gonna work. I really don't want people to see that either. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. I have to go get something from my room. All right, let me sell out in other Discords, and then I'll get started. Ah. Keith, yeah. I haven't set my mic setting up to change that, and at this point, I really couldn't care less. I honestly think it's funny more than anything. What other channels do I want to sell that in? Da-da-da-da-da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G. Da-da-da-da-da. It's the motherfucking D-O-G. Yeah, so my dad got me this keyboard as like a semi-graduation gift back in 2016. I just haven't had a reason to switch because I used this keyboard when I built my PC. Oh, no, you know, it's funny. I did get another PC. Well, when I bought my current PC. When I bought my new PC, I should say, it came with a keyboard. I also think this one has clickety-clackety switches too. I'm not exactly sure which ones they are, but I guarantee you they're loud. Alright, good evening, adventurers. Let us begin. Oh, is this an edge thing? Fuck. Let me move this here. Fuck. I have to put a new source. Because if I open up Edge, it's going to be in Google Drive and there's going to be things that I don't want you to see. Destined. No, don't want to do that. Definitely do not want to do that. Let me just edit this. This is going to be so jank. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to have to zoom in on this. I was going to do it in Scribe, but the zoom on Scribe isn't nowhere good enough to the point where the things on my screen would be readable. So I have to do it like this, which is not a problem. I'll just move it into Scribe afterwards. So I just want to make sure I get the flavor of this right. This. Hello. You hate Scribe? Yo, thanks for the follow, Improfit. Then it cause more issues than help. I just think Scribe looks nice, so I do things in Scribe. Hey, Divin Kitty, welcome in. Barbarian, this is gonna need to be worked on, but the flavor text can come later. Welcome in. Darth, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. So I was thinking of anathema for this instinct. The original plan was to have, it was sort of similar to the dragon instinct, so it was either accept fate or reject fate, and then there would be a bunch of abilities based on that. But then I realized that it would be too restrictive. The anathema would either not matter, and it doesn't seem very barbarian-ish, and the abilities that I wanted to tie in were both fortune and misfortune, and I didn't want to lock 1/2 of the instinct out based on the anathema. So I decided to scrap that. And what the theme that I went for, it's like, okay, this is my destiny. I'm supposed to be a barbarian. No one's going to get in my way. I changed the anathema to letting others command you, or let's just say willingly, for the sake of spells. Willingly letting others command you or boss you around is anathema. So the instinct ability here will be a Destined Rage. Instinct. Is there flavor text associated with this? Perhaps make the idea of the barbarian one that moves outside of fate and is able to change the weave through pure rage. Yeah, so... Or whether... I'll throw that into here. Whether you accept fate or reject it, this fuels your inner anger. Something like that. So I wanted to encapsulate both themes in here. I think I wrote flavor for this. I don't know. Maybe I have it inscribed. Let me just check real quick. I wrote a bunch of this down yesterday. I have it on paper, but I didn't really get all the flavor that I had wanted. Which I could definitely be doing a better job with, I realize. Oh yeah, this is just a very old one. This is all gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to rewrite this, which is not a problem. I know I've already said that like twice, but so I thought of, instead of giving a different bonus to damage like spirit or dragon, or I guess giant too, but that's just flat damage. I gave them an ability. It's called Destined Strike for one action. And it has Barbarian, Rage. Well, I guess it doesn't need the Rage trait, but... We'll have these traits. Barbarian, Fortune, Rage for the time being. We can remove the Rage trait whenever. Frequency, once per Rage. And it is very simply make a melee strike, roll twice, and take the better result. So in my eyes, this is their bread and butter ability. More or less, they can just use this once per rage, and then they gain, advantage on the attack. I don't know. So I've had a lot of thoughts, and I wrote a bunch of things down. Because I feel like this is not enough, but when we get to later abilities, you'll see why, I guess. So in the specialization ability, I said increase the rage damage. Increase the additional damage from rage from 2 to 5. And increase the number of times you can use Starfinder's precog. I would need to see that. Let's take a look at that. Because I was also looking at Chronoskimmer a lot. Having sets of rolls at the start of each day can use them and rolls their abilities. Interesting. Wording might be better without the typo. If I roll 1d20 early and save when you need a dice-based bonus to an attack, I definitely don't want to use that. I know Pathfinder has strayed away from giving those kinds of bonuses, so I don't want to use that, just out of respect for the system. Formatting didn't work well in Twitch. Yeah, it won't. For Raging Resistance, basically it's you resist 2 of bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage, chosen 1 you gain. I really didn't know what to put for Raging Resistance here, so I was just gonna give him a choice. I didn't want to say physical damage because now you're just playing with a better Fury Instinct, but let's be real here, that's just every instinct. But I didn't want to be, you know, just like flat out, this is better than Fury. So now let's move on to the feats. Fury's weapon damage, I know. And at higher levels, no one even uses weapons. They just use all their bullshit unarmed attacks. Like, I've played through all of Age of Ashes and Agents of Edgewatch. Why Paizo decided to name 2 campaigns starting with the first 3 letters is anybody's guess. I guess Detectives of Edgewatch would have been too on the nose. So the first feat is I'm in charge. Feat 1. What if you resist crits harder? That's possible. So I could give them a reaction. Hold on, I'm thinking. But I want to list what I have out first because I have a lot of stuff already written. So let's just say traits. Rage. Yeah, I guess Barbarian. Prerequisites. Destined. Oh, I guess this wouldn't be a rage. You gain a +2 status bonus against all effects with the misfortune trait. Additionally, you gain a +2 status bonus against effects that would make you confused or controlled while raging. So that's what I was thinking, Eldritch. Maybe there could be like, you know the fortification rune? Maybe we could have something like that. But another feat that I did have is called Destiny's Bond. This is going to be their 12th level feat. And this is a reaction. There we go. Do be good? Yeah. But if it's only while raging, it's not that great. So this is a similar ability to Destiny Bond from Pokemon. I want to give it this effect too. But here's the thing. It's already a fortune effect, and this is more or less a fortune effect on top of that. I guess I could just give it like a +2 status bonus. But I'm not sure. Could make it another true strike effect. Yeah, but it's already you're already making a Destined strike, and Destined strike is a true strike effect. Maybe get rid of that. Because the other thing is here, I want to give them more active abilities. I don't want them to just throw in 2 reactions and a flat bonus and call it a day. But I just don't know. I don't know what I could give them that hasn't already been given to them. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is this worded properly? On a success, treat the attack. What is fortification rune say? My favorite armor rune in the game. It says attempt. A DC 17 flat check. On a success, it becomes a normal hit. Say this is a 14th level feat. We can move this down to 10. If you're using a reaction in a class feat and it's not passive, it can be a better DC. It's possible. We make this a DC 15 flat check, 30%. But this is just a straight up better fortification rune that you're getting like 4 levels early. I'll leave it at 17 for now. You're gonna get crit so often as a barbarian anyway, so. Because I believe a greater fortification rune is like DC yeah, it's a DC 14 check and it's an 18th level item. Fortification's a 12th level rune. I don't know this off the top of my head. I have it on my laptop right now. But I know that the automaton gets it as a Oh, that's right. You're using the reaction to do it. That's true. That is true. It's a deflect. So I want to say I want Aura of Destiny to be either choose fortune or misfortune. These will need to be changed. These words will need to be changed. Once during your rage, any ally within the aura can make a strike. Can make a Destined strike. Well, Destined strike is melee only. That makes an attack. So roll twice and gain and take the better. Okay, sure. That's fine with me. It really auto-corrected horrible to terrible? Wow, alright. Well, the duration means you're raging. For duration. Until your rage ends. You exude an aura of bountiful luck or terrible misfortune around you. When you use this ability, choose either fortune or misfortune. This ability gains the corresponding trait. You create aura of 30 feet. You I need to get this wording right. You emanate. Oh, okay. You emanate a 30. Misfortune, chosen when you use the ability. Is that better? If you choose Fortune, all was within an ally what's the word of choose strike? Another thing in the order that makes an attack roll can roll the attack twice and use the better result. They then become immune to this ability until your rage ends. If you choose Misfortune, any enemy within the aura that makes an attack roll must roll twice and use the lower results. The worst result? They then... No, it's... How's that? I think that's not too terrible. So what do we have here? Oh, crap. This is a 12 again. This is very close to True Strike. Once per day. This is very close to True Strike. Right. But it's one attack per rage. That you're spending a 14th level feat on? Damn, I wish this was awesome as the Void Instinct. Dude, if I did Void Instinct Oracle on stream, that would be such a banger. But I was too eager to do it, so I did it over the weekend instead. This would be dank in an army. Yeah. I mean, is the aura too large? I feel like the aura is too large. I'll make this 15. It's AoE True Strike? Yeah, that's fair. And because it's an aura, you get it too, right? Is that how that... Because it's an emanation, you can choose whether or not you're included in it? So it's basically giving you a 4th Destined strike, which is... Or I guess 3rd when you pick it, 4th, level 15. Well, no, you're not your own ally. Okay. Okay, sure. That's right, I did specify ally. You know what's funny? I believe you are your own ally in Pathfinder 1. If I'm not mistaken. In PF1 you are, okay. That's what I thought. Semi thankfully changed that. That's so true, so true. Dude, I don't know what to do with the other 2 hours of the stream. We finished in 45 minutes. We could do something else. If anyone wants to give me another idea. Make another subclass? Yeah. For Cosmos or for anything? Cosmos. I'm gonna critique your server rules. Hey dude, maybe we should do a moon druid. Oh wait a minute. Your sever rules? Oh, yeah, that probably makes more sense. Yeah, sure. Your server rules. All right, probably no racism, no sexism, no ableism, homophobia, transphobia, bigotry, etc. No self-promotion outside of the self-promotion channel. Treat others with respect. It's in general chat Discord. Which is it? Which server? Because I forget that there's 2 servers. I know I saw a discussion about it earlier. But I don't know where it is. Do you know what you said it was in general? Alright, I got it. But thank you for the ping. Most creatures can only have the severed condition on one part at a time as the creature becomes protective of its body but unable to protect the damaged part, though the GM may determine some creatures can have multiple parts which can be individually targeted at one time. Creatures guard vital parts particularly well, so you cannot attempt to sever a part that would kill a creature instantly. Sometimes you may have a creature like a giant centipede where many legs make choosing to sever them seem pointless or that it would have no effect. The GM can handle such a situation in a few ways. They can decide that severing such things will prove ineffective. I feel like this is a run-on sentence here. Creatures with undifferentiated anatomies, such as most oozes, are immune to the severed condition. Sure. Variant rule: Flourishing Sever. You may want to run a game with Sever, but have it be less prominent for all characters. This simple variant rule adds the Flourish trait to Sever. This also allows the Severus archetype to shine even brighter in such a campaign. Okay. As a free action, you're about to make a strike or a spell attack roll. Should this say your next action is to make a strike or spell attack roll? Your attack has the following effect instead of the following ones. Critically striking with a Sever still counts as a critical for the effects that happen on a critical, such as the deadly trait. If you're using a ranged weapon, the strike is made at a -2 unless you are within unarmed reach of the creature. Okay. On a critical success, you deal damage according to your original attack's critical effect and any special effect associated. Have the damage taken. Okay, that seems wordy. Oh, you have on a success as well. Okay, you deal damage when you originally take any special. I would say, I would maybe suggest, instead of it automatically applying, have them make a fortitude save against your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher, and then if they fail that, then the severed value increases by 1, and if they critically fail, it increases by 2. And if your attack was a critical success, they use a result 1 worse than they had rolled. Or is that too weak or circumstantial of an ability? So you like that? Excellent. I'm glad. Condition severed. A part of your body has been targeted and is a threat of being destroyed. Severed is always joined by a value. Your severed condition exceeds your severed threshold, typically 2 plus your con mod, with a minimum total of value of 2. The body part is destroyed in some way and your severed condition is removed. The GM determines if this is the removal of the part or simply having it disabled and applies an effect as appropriate from table S-2 or something that the GM decides. Target this before we had the dual class DC and spell class. Oh, I wrote this before we had it. Oh, okay. Jeez, your autocorrect is off the chains tonight. The GM determines if this removal is a part of simply having. Okay. Your severed condition reduces by 1 anytime you regain hit points. If you have regeneration, your severed part regrows in an amount of time that is stated in your regeneration ability, or 1 hour if no time is mentioned. Larger creatures are harder to sever, as shown in table S-1. Some creatures have entries where they have parts that are severable without this mechanic, like the heads of a hydra. In these situations, the GM should determine the ease with which a sever may take place in these parts. For example, hydra. What about Colossal? You didn't add in Colossal. They're colossal creatures in this game, right? It's voice to type. You're cooking. Oh, okay, nice. Your GM may feel like tracing multiple severed conditions. Yeah, no, they won't. If so, you may target different body parts with sever, and each will gain the severed condition separately. However, when doing so, the creature increases its guard with against further sever attacks. For every instance of the severed condition the creature has, they gain a +1 circumstance bonus to AC against new sever attempts against parts that do not have the severed condition. Alright. Colossal is an ability. Colossal isn't a size. Oh my god, they don't go higher than Gargantuan in this game? 0 out of 10. Would not play. They removed it with diminutive. They removed fine as well, dude. What if I want to be like fucking my Burt's Bees and just wanted to be like 2 inches long or some shit and occupy half a foot of space? Dude, Pathfinder 1 was a trip. I'm so glad they streamlined so many things into Pathfinder 2 that I don't have to worry about such precise measurements anymore, or needing a 2-page flowchart in order to understand grappling. Just imagine. I want to make imagine making a grappler in Pathfinder 1. Oh my lord. You knew I was gonna say that. Dude, that's one of my go-tos. It's always grapple rules, or grapple rules, encumbrance to the 100th of a pound, or sacred geometry. And I have a bone to pick about sacred geometry. I was playing, this is 2019, this is right before Pathfinder 2nd edition dropped. I was playing in, was it Mummy's Mask? It wasn't Mummy's Mask. It was in some AP. And it was a horror theme. It wasn't Mummy's Mask. But there was a lot of undead. And I took a hiatus from the campaign because I had work or school or something, or maybe I was dating this girl at the time. Maybe all three at once. I think all three at once. And I was like, okay, I don't have time for Pathfinder, I have to go. But then a couple months later, I did have a lot of time for Pathfinder. So I was like, okay, can I join back? And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. So I joined back, and I'm playing a fighter, a dwarven fighter, and I was using, we were like level 6 or some shit, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for greater trip. So I'm gonna be able to trip someone, and then because I had combat reflexes, I could like immediately make an AOO against them or some shit, whatever. And my GM was like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? Because you can't take reactions on your turn. I'm like, this is not a reaction, this is an attack of opportunity. He's like, yeah, it's a reaction. I'm like, no, reactions, the term reaction doesn't exist in Pathfinder. It does in 5e and it does in Pathfinder 2, but it doesn't exist in Pathfinder. Reaction is not a thing. And it says that when this occurs, I'm allowed to make an attack of opportunity. Because, yeah, it says, benefit, whenever you successfully trip an opponent, that opponent provokes attack of opportunity. Reaction will not... No. he's saying that it can't be used when I'm taking action. It has to be an out of turn thing. So you're telling me I can't take an attack of opportunity despite literally being able to do that? But then how would that even work? I guess what he thought was that it would provoke opportunity attacks from everybody else, just not me. So that's what I think that he was thinking. But I'm like, so we had this argument for more than one session, more than one day, and we were playing this, and one of the other players immediately breaks out Sacred Geometry. I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. You're gonna nerf Greater Trip, but you're going to allow Sacred Geometry as is? You gotta be joking me, man. I left that game as soon as I could. I'm like, you know what? I gotta go back to school later. That's what I'm so bad about. Whenever I leave a game, I'm a picky gamer. I'll just admit that. If I don't like something, I'll leave the game. But instead of saying, hey, but I'm also like, which is funny because I am a confrontational person. I guess not in this regard because I respect the authority of the GM. But like, instead of saying, hey, this is what I don't like about this game, can we do this instead? I would just be like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm out. There was this game of Pathfinder 2 I was playing. And I was like, I was going to be like a tiefling something. I don't remember. He's like, no, you can't. And I'm like, why not? And then he gave me like all these weird excuses. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Fuck it. Whatever. I'll be a dwarf. I was playing a fighter again. Why does this shit always happen when I'm playing a dwarven fighter? This is Pathfinder 2. So so he's like, okay, so now you're going around town and you're doing all this thing, and I'm like, I wanted to be like this retired guy that's coming out of retirement not because he's bored, maybe because he's bored, but he wanted to come out of retirement. The guy's like level 2. So he made my dwarf like this massive drunkard. I'm like, I don't want to be a drunkard like every other fucking dwarf that's ever been rolled in the history of D&D. But like the way that he was like all the NPCs were just insinuating that I was this character that I didn't feel comfortable with playing. And then we found a potency rune, and he made me spend like every day I had to make a craft check to put this on my weapon. Like, can I just pay the money and just have a guy do it? And then he had the guy roll, and he failed too, because apparently the weaponsmith in his kingdom can't move a +1 rune onto a weapon. So he's like, here's your money back, sorry. And then I spent like the next 3 days trying to put that shit on. I'm like, is this really... Can we just hand wave this at this point? Like, I'll pay the money. That's not the problem. Like, can I just be done with this? And it's like, no. It only takes 1 day to transfer runes. I failed the crafting check. That's the problem. Don't you have to succeed on a crafting check of like the DC of the item, which would be like 16 if it's a second level item, something like that? So I was like, okay, like fuck this, I'm out. And usually when I leave games, the GM's like, hey, is everything alright? He didn't even say a word to me. Yeah, sometimes I'm a stickler too, but like, if I'm GMing a game and a player wants to give it to an NPC to do the thing, then I would just let them do the thing, because I can't be bothered. That's why I could never actually run a survival-based campaign where everyone has to keep track of their water and rations and arrows and shit, because I'm just way too lazy as a GM. I'm like, this isn't what's important, so I'm going to hand wave this. Instead of giving it, like, you know, the attention that it so desires. I feel like that's one of my, like, positive things and negative things as a qualities as a GM. I also don't roleplay enough. I roleplay well in one-shots and in, like, pre-written modules, But in my games, like, I would ask the players as an NPC, hey, do you have any other questions for me? And they're all like, no. So it's like, well, I can't roleplay with you if you don't want to. And it's funny, I was talking with one of my players from one of my games, and they were like, I was like, okay, you guys got the roleplay session last time, now prepare for the combat session. And they were like, that was the roleplay session? They only had, like, I don't know, 3 combats in a 2.5 hour session. They had the first combat ran long because everyone was learning how to play the game. And I have to remember to get them to level 2 before they fight the first boss. Because if I don't, then I feel like they're just gonna die. And that's another problem that I have, is just all my boss enemies are gonna be APL plus 3. And I know that's not good, and it's especially not good for lower level enemies. But it makes for more entertaining boss fights, at least in my opinion. Rose of Rapier? I mean, it's something that we collectively, like, as a table, need to do. Because I feel like I give opportunities, and there's enough people in the game that you can interact with to get a genuine roleplay experience. But I think we're all so collectively awkward that none of us want to do it. Alternatively, it's Chris who wants to do it, and that makes things worse. It doesn't actually make things worse. I very much enjoy having Chris at my tables. If I didn't, I wouldn't still be talking to him, but I do. But I also think it might be easier for me to do with people that I don't, like, interact with like, a long time. Because then it gets, like, weird. Because it's not our characters role-playing with each other, it's just us talking to each other in the eyes of other people. And like last Friday, I feel like I was role-playing with a bunch of newbies very well. I thought my computer blue screened for a sec there because I heard like a zzz. I was like, oh no, please don't. And in the first combat that I had last Thursday, I was role-playing as an enemy in combat. Like, he was not playing perfectly tactically optimally. I wouldn't do that to my players on a first combat. Maybe like on a 7th or 8th combat, hint hint wink wink. But I was aware that this fight was a show match and not like a battle to the death. So I'm not going to have the character battle to the death. But one of my like my emphasis as a GM is combat. Like, you are going to get the best combats and the best, especially boss battles. I have very good boss battles, and I'm not being egotistical. I'll have enemies run away if it's like they're the last. If it's like a group and they're like the last one, I'm like, I can't be bothered to continue this combat. Okay, you guys win. But like, very rarely am I gonna have a fight end halfway, and I've been doing better about that. So I've like, okay, you're gonna have to fight an APL plus 3 enemy, but it's a deer, or like a giant deer. Sorry, Mega Osiris. And if you can get it to under like a quarter HP, it'll like run away instead of actually like fighting to the death. But Darth is here. I don't want to spoil the first boss battle. But what I was well, I guess it's not spoiling much. But I guess what I could be doing is doing APL plus 2. APL plus 2. What I'm thinking of doing is doing APL plus 2 and then throwing in like a hazard or something to make the fight more challenging in other ways, rather than just throwing like this big chungus at someone. and then being like, okay, you have to beat this APL +3, deal with it. Oh my god! How did you know that? Oh, did I post it in my? So one of my friends just messaged me on Facebook. I was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing on Friday?" He's like, "I guess we're gonna help you get sponsorship money by playing Mech Arena by the creators of Raid Shadow Legends." Dude, I played the game. It is not that great. But we'll see. Maybe it's better after you beat the tutorial. Or if anything, we can just dunk on AI all day long. But I needed to claim the sponsorship early, otherwise they would run out of slots and I'd miss out on free money. And if there's anything I like, it's free money. Which is funny, like, people dunk on the Raid Shadow Legends, advertisements, but after you learn how much money that Plarium is giving out to people that do those sponsorships, like, you will stop laughing immediately. Like, I know if you get a Raid Shadow Legends YouTube sponsor, Complex Hazards to one-off traps, personally, I agree. Hold on, I have to talk about something when I get back. Doing for fundraising, got $500 swag. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna spoil the Fall of Plaguestone. If any of you have not played the Fall of Plaguestone, you are in luck. But if you are interested in playing the Fall of Plaguestone, there's always time to reconsider. But if you are insistent on playing the Fall of Plaguestone, the first boss battle, which is not the first encounter of the game, the first encounter of the game could very well TPK you. Probably will, because you have to fight fucking a level 2 and 2 level 1s. And the level 2 gets a fucking AoE. An AoE line attack that does 3d6 damage. What were they thinking? I mean, they didn't have a lot of experience to go off of yet, so of course it's going to be skewed harder. But the first boss fight is against an APL +3 enemy, and in the room there are 2 traps, and there's basically no way you can't trip them, unless you specifically seek for them, because the description of the room gives the players no warning against them, that have like a +12 to hit. So they're at worst hitting you on 6 and critting you on 16. So that's a 75% to at least hit. And it does like 1d8 plus 4 damage or some crap like that. Like, it's a crossbow. It's a crossbow trap that just does a ludicrous amount of damage. It can straight up knock you unconscious. I don't think it can kill you, but it can knock you unconscious. Oh, is it a spear launcher? Is it the spear launcher? Is this it? No, I don't think it's a spear launcher. This is it does 2d6 plus 6 piercing. That's so ridiculous. Yeah, people rarely seek in combat unless someone goes invisible. That's what I've noticed. But yeah, I was playing. I don't think I'll ever go back to Wrath of the Righteous. I made it to Dresden. I'm like almost done with it. I have like 1/10 of Dresden left to go, but I'm like, I don't want to play this shit, man. By the way, Wrath of the Righteous spoilers, if you haven't played the first 2 acts and don't want me to spoil it for you, turn away now, because I'm going to spoil something. And what I'm going to spoil is that one canyon that you can't skip. Like, this is like an unskippable area, and it's like you have to send someone down there to scout, and if you choose incorrectly, you like run into an ambush, and that ambush is a bunch of Vescivore swarms. So first off, this is you're gonna be level 6, at most level 7, because I think I basically did everything up to that point, and I was like level 6 or level 7. I don't think you can rest. You're timed in the sense that if you stop to loot, you are worse off. I forget what the penalty was, but you shouldn't be looting. And on top of that, there are Vescivore swarms, which are swarms, and Pathfinder 1 swarms are notoriously ridiculous to deal with, unless you're an alchemist. But, I mean, I wouldn't recommend playing an alchemist in Wrath of the Righteous, because you only get, like, 1 melee companion. I'm trying to think of all the companions you get up to this point. You get... Do you even have Regil at this point? I don't even think so. You have, like, Lan or Mace Wendu. Mace Wendu or Lan, both of which are archers. Sela, who is thankfully a paladin. Camilla, who is technically melee, but like really sucks in melee. Like, I don't even know what she was supposed to do. Ember, who is definitely not melee. And Sela. I said Sela. Sela's melee. Sela, Camilla, Lan, Wendu, and Woljif. I forgot about Woljif. My boy Woljif. Woljif is melee, but he again sucks in melee. Like he can't be the... He's not a tank. And swarms don't care about tanks because they just swarm you and you just get everywhere. And these Vescivore swarms cause confusion. And the funny thing is, you can't choose confusion as your mercy as a paladin until level 9. So you're literally up shit's creek without a paddle, and there's no way around this. Like, I don't even know what's the... Are Vescivore even... Are these things evil? They are evil. So you could use protection from evil. But any creature within 15 feet of a Vescivore swarm or inside it must succeed at a DC 15 will save or be confused for 1 round. And it's like, okay, a creature that saves cannot be affected by the same Vescivore swarm for 24 hours. Well, that's great. Unfortunately, there's like 1 billion of them in this valley. So it's like, oh, I survived against one of them. Oh, I survived against all the other ones. And then at the end, you have to kill a Vescivore queen, which is another bullshit fucking fight. Oh, the Vescivore queen also has that stupid bullshit confusion aura as well. Hey, maybe I should make that in Pathfinder 2e. Hey, does anyone want me to make a Vescivore swarm? I'm sure that's going to be a very fun and enjoyable encounter for players. But hey, I guess the Destined Barbarian would do pretty well against it. As long as you take, make it but good. Yeah. Maybe I should do that Vescivore Swarm. Maybe I could write that for, it would be funny though. I'll go back to reading the Severed Condition. Using Severian's player character should be discussed in your game early on, so it may not become the most fully using it for part of the character's body. I don't feel comfortable reading this. This is definitely something for a sensitivity reader. I don't want to make any, ill-advised comments or throw my 2 cents in an area that I don't have any expertise in. But I think it could work. If you like the idea of just making it a fortitude save against class or spell DC. Thrasher Dragon, we released used to have severability. Oh, that's interesting. Is this National Park? Sorry, I'm taking a second to listen to the music. I think that was National Park. That's an excellent theme, by the way. If you need music to study to, National Park is always a good one. Remember working on this way back? How long have you been associated with, I guess, anyone with EOG? I just looked at your Discord profile, and the only Discords that we're mutually in are the 2 EOG ones and then Lancer. 2 or 3 years ago. That's a long time. You know, it's so funny. 2 years ago, I wouldn't even think about homebrewing. Like, you know what? This game is great as is. I don't need a homebrew. Vault of Abadar. Was Victoria working on that one as well? But that does make a lot of sense. This is the Pokemon title screen theme. Working on which Vault of Abadar, yeah. Not to your knowledge? It might have been something else then. Oh, okay, I see. Because I think it had something to do with it. It's something to do with Abadar. I just wasn't sure what. So it might have been a different project, but I'm pretty sure she worked on something. Maybe not necessarily similar. Because you got very busy with like, oh, that's... Yeah, it happens. Because in 2021, I think at like the end of 2021, oh, you know what? I'm an unemployed fuck. Let me do something with my life. So, like, you know what? What was my favorite class from Pathfinder 1? Oh yeah, the Inquisitor. So let's make that a homebrew. And then I did that. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Like looking back at it, there is so many things that I could have done better. But I had never. This is my first homebrewing. This is literally the first homebrew I've written. So I posted it, and I think it was the Deadly D8. It was the Deadly D8 server. And James saw it and was like, "Hey, I like this. Do you want to get it published?" And I was like, I was very much on the fence. Like, I don't know. I was planning on just like giving it out for free. You're well considering, I suppose. I could. There's a lot of polish that it needed, and a lot of polish that I eventually gave it, but. Really, this is okay. So we did it. We pushed it out, and then it got pretty mixed reviews on Pathfinder Infinite. Ironclad came out well too. Well, that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Ironclad, I put in a lot more work, and it definitely came out as much better balanced than the Inquisitor did, and I think. Because it was so balanced, a lot of people began respecting it, and it sold a lot better. I mean, they both sold approximately the same amount, but... I don't know if you care about Lazarus Dark's BCS class guide thing. But I remember someone on my video commented on it. And he said, hey, BCS came out, and he was like, your class is just like perfectly within the power budget. And that's not something that I had predicted, it just happened to work out that way. And of course, not everyone necessarily love. This doesn't say the name. Yeah. Yeah, it's the fact that it's its own independent class, and it's not, you know, like my imagining of a Pathfinder 1 Inquisitor over. Island that evolves. You look at Eldamon. That's fair. Oh, I definitely filled in words there. I think I saw your post and I read I am glad that Ironclad did well despite not having the name recognition that Inquisitor did. You know, Ironclad would have been number 1 if it wasn't for the fact that fucking Kineticist was deployed that same day on Pathfinder Infinite. I was like, oh no. If we got it out a week earlier, I think it would have sold like a dozen or maybe 2 dozen more copies. But it was just sitting at number 2 for so long because of fucking Kineticist. It do be like that. It really do, you know? But now the problem is, I've tried to think of concepts for a new class, but they've never made it past like the initial thought process. I was originally gonna have Squire be an archetype or be a full class in and of itself. But I'm gonna throw on Scribe real quick, just if anyone here wants to see my Book of War contribution. I shouldn't be showing this. You can't read any of that, but I'm gonna pull it out. Okay, there's nothing there that you weren't supposed to see, but classes are a lot of work. It's so true. So this was supposed to start out as a class. I think I had it as a class, but then I just deleted it. I think I originally called it Attendant as well. Is my camera out of focus or is it just dirty? I think my camera's dirty. But I wanted to make a class just fully revolving around aid. Then I realized it would be much better as an archetype. Like, why shouldn't this be an archetype? And I do think I did pretty good work on this too. But I think I definitely agree with you, Kitty. What I also agree with is that like you have this huge idea for a class, but there's only so much room for it to go. Right? There's only so much room that we have left for classes. I wouldn't be surprised if there are only... So after Kineticist, I'm going to guess that there are going to be 5 more classes added to Pathfinder, 2nd edition, and then that's it. At most 5. Because already you can see some overlap. Yeah, it's like, you can see like, Investigator could have just been Mastermind Rogue. Swashbuckler could have just been, you know, another racket for Rogue as well. I'm glad that they're not, but they definitely could have been. And now that we have class archetypes and stuff, like you can just staple on Elementalist to a caster rather than making an Elementalist class, which could have been some kind of wizard. That's very possible. It could have been a thesis. Like, let's look at the classes that were introduced in Pathfinder 1 that people want. like Inquisitor, Shaman, and then like the occult classes that are not like Psychic. Well, Psychic's already in the game, I should say. I guess the Cultist is Thaumaturge, but... Oh, just make the curse into a school? So true. That is possible, yeah. Oh, and Shifter. Shifter's the other big one. Marcy's working on Metaphor. Dude, what is wrong with my English? Metamorph, which is going to be great. But I saw another Shifter class. It was, like, the person who wrote it put a lot of work into it. I can see that for sure. But the first draft of it that I saw, it just was not... It was not going to be okay. Like, it was legendary in, I think, everything. It was legendary in attack rolls, legendary in saves, legendary in defense, or legendary in one save that you could choose every day, and also legendary in perception. I mean, that's a little bit too much. Like, you can restrict class features all you want, but if you want to give them perfect base stats, then that's fine. Then like that's it. Like, it doesn't even matter at that point. And they had like 10 HP per level, and then on top of that, for some reason, it was a con class. I'm like, why is this con? Just make it strength or dex. Like, don't make it con just for the sake of making it con. Like, let's look at all the other classes. You're at most getting to legendary in two categories, and it can't be attack and defense. So like Gunslinger is, well, actually, doesn't Gunslinger get 3? Does Gunslinger get legendary reflex? Oh, do they not? They don't? Oh my god. Yeah, okay, even Gunslinger doesn't get 3. Yeah, so you can have at most 2 legendary statistics. So it's either gonna be the fighter's just attack, champion is just defense, monk is defense and a save, rogue and ranger are perception and reflex, barbarians fortitude, and unless you count 12 hit points as also being legendary, you could count that as well. If you want to stretch the definition of legendary. And then Gunslinger's attack rolls and attack rolls with guns and crossbows and perception. Bard is legendary will, Thaumaturge legendary will, Psychic legendary will. Dude, I want to like Psychic more. There's a lot of classes that I just want to like more. Summoner is another one of them. I wanted to make a Fey Summoner, and their Eidolon is the is like a wild hunt scout. You love Psychic, but you like Wizard more. I'm playing a Wizard in my Sunday game. He got blinded, so it was hard for him to do much of anything. But I don't know. I'll withhold judgment until I play him for like a few more sessions. But I played Psychic for a bit. It was it's in an undead campaign. So it's kind of like, okay, I can't use any of their mental abilities. So I have to just basically just only choose like blasts and things that can target undead. But I didn't want to play a cleric because I didn't want to play cleric. Maybe I should have played a war previews. Yeah, so I was disabling a trap, and unfortunately, I failed my check, and then a bunch of undead spawned too. You love Witch? I cannot play Witch. I will never, ever, 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 ever play a Witch again. And this is why. I rolled an Occult Witch. I think it was a Curse Witch for Abomination Vaults. And I made it to level 2, and every time except for one that I cast Evil Eye, every creature succeeded. Even the trash mob succeeded. And I was just so fed up with the class that I wasn't having a good time, and I was letting everyone else know that I wasn't having a good time. I was insufferable during that campaign, and I know I was too. Like, I just was not having a good time. So I was like, you know what? This isn't worth my time anymore. Then I switched to Barbarian. Much better. Much better. Arcane Healer Witch. I do like Life Boost. That's like the one spell I always get whenever I play like a Wizard or Magus and take the Witch dedication. Oh, just give me Life Boost real quick. I did take Life Boost in that game too. Like, oh, Life Boost, that'll come in handy. But hey, just having your primary class feature, your Hex, just do absolutely nothing for a full, like, 8 sessions, it's not fun, and it gets very frustrating very fast. And I'm also stuck with the Occult spell list, which is not particularly good at low levels. People can say, oh, this is the best spell in the game, and they have an argument for it, sure. But, like, at low levels, the Occult spell list is just not good. And Witch doesn't get very many spells. I took Mage Armor, and I took, I think, I don't know, fucking Magic Missile, and then Grease or something. Just something generically useful. And it's just like, why am I playing this class? Like, I don't have any buffs. I guess I could have taken Bless. We didn't have a Bard in that one. Like, I could take Bless, but in order for Marshals to have it be in order for it to be worthful to Marshals, Familiars are useful at what? At what? I think I took Bless with my third first level slot at level 2. But then it's like, okay, its area is 5 feet. So if I want it Scouting, okay. That's great. Casting Assistance. Healing, Disarming Traps. How can it heal? Wouldn't it need... You give it Healer's Tools, and then you need Manual Dexterity too, right? But here's the thing. You only get, like, 3 abilities. You get what? You have... Is it... And Skill. Okay, so there's your 2 abilities. So how is it gonna scout when you need Flight, Dark Vision, Share Senses, Speech? Like, I feel like you can't do everything at once. You get 3 off the bat. Okay, which 3 you taking? So this is my problem. When people say that you can do all these things, show me the build. Show me. It's like show me the Carfax. Show me the build. Like, you can do all these things. Okay, but you can't do anything. You can't do all of them at once. You get 3 off the bat. I'm taking Dark Vision and I'm taking Flight. So I get 1 more left. What am I gonna put in that slot? Am I gonna put Speech? Am I gonna put Spell Battery? Am I gonna put Cantrip? You can scout without Dark Vision or Flight, but what if you need Dark Vision or Flight? We're going into Abomination Vaults. I can't imagine an underground vault being, you know, You can change it every day. I'm aware of that, but I'm also lazy. So okay, let's say we don't need either of these things. But my familiar was a raven, so it needed flight. So flight was automatically locked in, and I think I also locked in speech. I locked in flight. I locked in speech. So I have one more. What do I take? Share senses? Okay. So now I can't use manual dexterity. I can't use skilled. I can't use independent. I can't use valet. So what? I'm not spending my second level. So this game was not with free archetype, by the way. We're not using free archetype. Why use speech and share senses? Well, I didn't. I had dark vision. I'm just spitballing at this point. I had speech, flight, I had dark vision, flight, and speech. Because that was the backstory. That a raven familiar came over and started talking to my character. Like, go to Atari, go to Atari. That's a parrot, but you get the point. They get do better time as you get more abilities. Well, that's too bad, because we team wiped at level 2. So I guess I'll never know. That's my problem with Alchemist too. Is like, oh, at higher levels, Alchemist. Yeah, how many fucking games start at higher levels? Not very many. Things my character's bad at, but my character's fucking bad at everything because he's a witch. Got him. Oh man. Dude, I took a look at my Pathfinder 2e tier list. There was one recurring theme. 4 of the bottom 5 classes were int characters. Alchemist, Investigator, Witch, and the other one. Skill issue, so true. You like, yeah, you like bad boys? Well, I'm bad at everything. Exactly, Kitty. Exactly. Oh man. Oh, inventor. I was like, what's the other int class other than, well, not wizard. Wizard's good because they get more spells. But witch, investigator, inventor, and alchemist. Oh man, I could never play any of these classes, and I accept that. Maybe it is a skill. Maybe it is a skill issue. I'm perfectly fine with accepting it. Psychic? Yeah, but psychic can go charisma, so they're not an int class. Like, why would you ever go int when charisma exists? No, but my friend told me about some cheese. You play, if you have free archetype, you play a magus, you take the psychic dedication, and at level 6, you take tangible dream as your conscious mind, and you get imaginary weapon, and then it becomes your best spell strike spell. Because it's the only cantrip that deals D8 plus spellcasting modifier. And the amp heighten is ridiculous, dude. Amp heighten deals 3d8. Like Eldritch nails, yeah. Dude, I made an entire video on why the witch sucks. I also made an entire Reddit post on why the witch sucks. It's so funny. Looking back, dude, you have to read this. I was so pissed when I wrote it. Is great on a strength witch, but then you're playing a strength witch. How many upvotes did I didn't get downvoted. I got 11 upvotes on this. It's great on a strength witch. Yeah, but then you're playing a strength witch. You're gonna die. Solo game. It's a solo game, Sean. It doesn't count. Which is not... I'm not trying to gatekeep when I say that. But, like, you have to realize that all of her enemies are gonna be APL -3, APL -2. This shit is not gonna fly against APL +0. It's just not. Of course a strength witch is going to be fine if you're just punching down the entire time. But then again... And it was fine? Yeah, show me the Carfax on that one. Show me the Carfax. What the fuck did I click? The math just does not check out. Because here's the problem. So, okay, let's say you are playing a strength witch. What's your stat spread? What's your stat spread? Level 1. 16 strength, 12 dex, 12 con, 18 int, 10 wisdom, 10 charisma. Is that your stat spread? It was over a year ago? I know, but I'm just trying to math it out here. So I mean, unless you're gonna not... Okay, let's say you don't fully invest into int. Why? Alternate character, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily have to start with 1. But the argument still applies, because you still only have a +9 at level 1. So, I guess, if you're gonna play... I guess if you don't care about int, you could get 16 strength, 14 dex... Oh my god, 14 con, 12 int, 12 whiz, something like that? Or I guess 16 strength, 14 dex, 14 con, 14 int. Something like that. But your AC is going to be so garbage. Unless you're playing a human, you spend your heritage and general and first level ancestry feat to get armor proficiency. To get armor proficiency light and armor proficiency... oh, okay. Human beastskin. Does beastskin get an armor option? Or do like any bonus to AC? Because you just become a crit magnet. Your AC is gonna be fucking 15 at level 1. Like let's take a look at that stat spread that I just presented. Let's say you're playing an orc. Well, no, you're playing a human because you need your AC. You need those 2 general feats at level 1. Let's say you actually go 16 strength, 14 dex, 14 con, 14 int. You have 16 hit points. I guess that's passable. And I guess you can get 18 int with, 18 AC with the build that I've provided. But if you don't, your AC is at most 16. 16 AC is not a lot of AC at level 1. Dude, I'm worried if my AC is 16 at level 1. If my AC as a frontliner, unless I'm a barbarian, even as a well, okay, if I'm a barbarian, I mean I'm gonna have 18 AC, 17 when in range. But... 9? I think that's physically impossible unless you took variant dump scored. I think the lowest HP you can have is 11. And that's if you're playing an elf. I was scared? Yeah. Like, why would you... You know, because at this point, as a GM, I would advise against that. And if they did do that, I would straight up kill their character. And just let them know that this shit isn't gonna fly. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, I know every GM runs things differently, but in my games, like, there's gonna be a lot of combat, if you're not ready, if you're not, like, you don't need to be hyper optimized for it, but if you're not at least prepared for it, if you're not prepared for 5 combats in one session, your character is going to die, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. Not like I ever have. Well, yes, I have. There was one fight in my last campaign that I overtuned by accident. I did the math wrong on the encounter building, and then everybody basically got wrecked. I need to find these smart players. Everyone keeps talking about them online, but I've never encountered them. Well, I shouldn't say that, because that would be offensive to people I play with, that I have played with in the past. I think everyone encounters a botch. Yeah, even Paizo, with the first encounter of the Fall of Plakestone. Oh, dude, that fucking Acid Wolf, man. That fucking Acid Wolf is the Fall of Playstone is actually probably one of the worst encounters imaginable. James wants a gif of me dabbing. I say GIF? You mean the correct way of pronouncing graphical interchange format? Oh man. It's graphical? Yeah. And what's your point? Not giraffical? Okay. How do you pronounce this acronym? Pronounce this acronym right now. And if you don't pronounce the U with a short U, then you're a hypocrite. If you don't pronounce that skabah, then I don't even know what to say to you. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Skabah. Welcome in, James. You made it. You made it. We unfortunately finished the writing section. Now I'm on the rant section, which I need to cover the next, half an hour, because I didn't want to load up a game of Slay the Spire. But hey, I finished the Destined Instinct Barbarian. Is it good? I think it needs some tuning. I think it could use some tuning, but the concept's there. Yesterday, my mom suggested that, Yesterday, my mom suggested, she's like, look, how about you take an hour off from the computer and you just listen to some music and then go to sleep. So like, you know what? Let's try it. Fuck it. So I left my phone downstairs at 10 o'clock. I went upstairs to my room, took my writing pad, got my handy dandy notebook, and started writing things for it. Oath of Asp. Isn't that just Champion has a power attack. They have a power attack at level 12. It only works on evil creatures? Yeah, that's true. So just playing an AP setting, all the enemies are evil in those. Just kidding, no they're not. We should have an improvised weapon barbarian. Yeah, it's called the weapon improviser dedication that you take at 2nd level. Being prepared with a weapon is anathema. Well, that's basically the animal instinct. You're not allowed to use weapons while in range. But you already knew that. We had this discussion on Sunday. Well, you can use weapons. You just can't use them while raging. You can use weapons whenever, well, outside of raging. That's perfectly fine. Remember for the improvise? Oh, sure. As a theoretical. Oh, I got you. Sorry, it's hard to convey. Dude, I am the worst streamer because I'll be talking about someone and then I'll read chat and then my mind will have already moved on to another point. And then I'll just completely misunderstand what the chatter is saying. And I always take it in like the worst, in the worst faith possible. And get offended, even though they weren't doing that like at all. I guess it's definitely a defensive habit because I used to stream Dead by Daylight, and you can already see where this is. And if you've played Dead by Daylight or are immersed enough in the community, you already know where this is going. And I would just receive a lot of fan mail. Well, we'll call it fan mail. In post games, like I've had someone dox me because I said, "Oh, this guy's bad at hitting skill checks," because he missed the skill check. And I'm like, dude, it's just a skill check. It's not the end of the world, man. It's not like, who cares? And they got all bent out of shape. And the thing is, the next day I was going on vacation. And I'm like, is this guy gonna burn my house? Like, he found where I live. He, like, posted my address, like, my full name, all of my fucking relatives. It was so scary. Like, the fact of the matter is, I'm too slow to ban. Like, I believe in people. And that's a terrible, terrible assumption to make if you're playing Dead by Daylight. Yeah, I'm not making this up. And this has happened to other people, too. Like, all of my information just got fucking leaked. Like, IP address. I think my address got leaked, too. It was, like, my address, like, all of my relatives' names. Like, it's not hard to find my information just by searching my username, because my username is associated with my real name. That was probably a mistake. Definitely a mistake. But it's too late for a rebrand. Maybe I will rebrand. Maybe not. Yeah, but I know, like, a bunch of my DBD friends would get DDoSed because they played Killer and the Survivor didn't like what they did. I'm like, you gotta be fucking joking me, man. You know, I think Dead by Daylight, I'm really sorry, this is completely off topic. Dead by Daylight is the only PvP game in existence where people get mad if their opponents don't go easy on them. Like that is the most baffling thing in a PvP game, explicitly PvP. If you don't go easy on me, you're a terrible person. And like, so I was in my friend's chat, and some guy was like, "Why do people tunnel?" I'm like, "It's not a big deal, dude. It's just a game." And then they're like, "If you tunnel as a killer in Dead by Daylight, you must be a horrible person." I'm like, dude, what the fuck? It's just a game, bro. You know, new man friend now? I appreciate the offer, and it does mean a lot to me, but it would be weird regardless. We know I'm a horrible person. I don't like Alchemist. I mean, there's more to Pathfinder 2e that I don't like. I also don't like Witch, or basically any int class not named Wizard. Dude, int sucks. Why does int suck? Int should give more. I don't know what. But it just... It needs something, man. It needs something. But the thing is, I've had CO Matthew 6 as my username for half my life. Literally, it's gonna be more than half my life this year. I've had it since I was like 13, 14. And I'm gonna be 29 this year. Fucking A, I'm gonna be 29 this year. This is the last year of my 20s. Oh, joy. That means you have to make the most of it, right? Had it a bit longer. Yeah, I've had it since I was in middle school. Your first username was Smelly Mario. Oh, dude, you were in the Stupid Mario Bros. By Rich Alvarez on YouTube. Dude, I love that series. Let's go, dude. Sometimes I still watch him play like. I don't know. He does like vlogs and stuff. Dude, that franchise was... Dude, oh my god, that series was so good. Well, how'd it go? Please subscribe. It's free and easy. And if you subscribe, something not terrible will happen to you. Something like that. He still makes videos. He just fell off a cliff. Yeah. Like, his videos are getting, like... Okay, this is... Oh, this is his channel. Yeah. Dude, Stupid Mario Brothers got 2.7 million views. That's well deserved. Stupid Mario Brothers is a great fucking series. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it used to be Stupid Mario Brothers. It eventually became Stupid Smash Brothers, but still. The music video parodies were also very good. I used to jam to those all the time when I was in, like, high school. Unfortunately, not very... So, high school was the point in time when everyone was too cool for Nintendo, except for me. Like, I was the only one still playing Pokemon. I was the only one, you know, playing Mario. Everyone moved on to Call of Duty. Everyone was playing Call of Duty and Halo. Call of Duty and Halo. Here I am, playing fucking Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy was a great game. I think it's the best Mario game. Mario Galaxy 1, that is. Mario Galaxy 2 can suck my nuts. Dude, the GameCube is like the best console ever. Are you kidding me? I love my GameCube. You know what I realized? When I started playing War Thunder, it was just planes, and I'm like, I'm really fucking good at this game. Like, I'm scarily good at this game. Usually I'm not good at video games when I start playing them. I'm usually pretty bad, and then I grind it and grind it and grind it and then get good. But this was an exception. I was like really good right off the bat. I'm like, how am I so good at this game? And then I realized that I spent my entire childhood playing fucking Monkey Dogfight on the Nintendo GameCube. Super Monkey Ball 2, Monkey Dogfight. And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now. You love that mode? Mm-hmm. It was I loved Monkey Target 2, Monkey Bowling 2, Monkey Billiards 2, and Monkey Dogfight and Monkey Shot. Those are my jams. Monkey Race was good, but it was kind of cringe. But yeah, my friend's favorite anecdote of me was at my 21st birthday party. I was at my friend's apartment. We were playing video games. I was a good boy. I didn't drink until I was 21. I didn't drink until that night. And I was like 4 or 5 drinks in. And we were playing Super Monkey Ball 2, and I was just obliterating everybody. and they could tell that I'm visibly drunk. And they were like, Matt, are you better? Are you one of those guys that are better at games when you're drunk? I'm like, fucking no, dude. I've just played so much Super Monkey Ball as a child that it is just a talent that will never leave me. Monkey Billiards was fire. Oh my god, Monkey 8 Ball was just so good. And the theme was really good too. Like that track, I mean, I could listen to for hours. I have listened to it for hours. Oh, so by the way, James, if you're still here, I'm gonna throw this into Scribe, and then put it in the Super Monkey Ball 2 is one of the games you regret selling. Let me tell you about a game I regret selling. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn for the Nintendo Wii. That game was so good, but I was too young at that point to appreciate Fire Emblem. The game was also really hard, and it also jumped around everywhere, so I was like, what the fuck is this? At that point, I also had FOMO of losing characters. So I was like, dude, I've trained Ilyana this whole time, and she died to like one of the chapter bosses. Like, I don't want to keep playing this game because I'm not gonna have her. And then I ended up selling it. I don't know if I sold it to my friend or sold it to GameStop, but it's gone. And I regret selling my Wii. Legend of Dragoon, pause menu music, interesting. But yeah, I've tried to less than legally get a copy of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. It just hasn't worked. Like, it just refuses to work. I have played all of Path of Radiance though less than legally. But if you look up Path of Radiance, which one? Radiant Dawn is Nintendo Wii. Path of Radiance is Nintendo GameCube. But dude, if you think about it, the Nintendo GameCube had all the best games. Like, this might be nostalgia bias, but a lot of these games hold up well today. Dolphin Network? Yeah, I think my ROM was corrupted. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance holds up today very well. Mario Kart Double Dash, absolute banger. Super Mario Sunshine, great game. Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, great game. We got Metroid Prime. We got Custom Robo. We have is there a Tales game? Tales of Symphonia, that was GameCube. Super Monkey Ball 2, The GOAT. Skies of Arcadia, I haven't played that one, but I'm gonna guess that it was good. Fucking Super Smash Brothers Melee, one of the greatest PvP esports experience I've ever seen. It's like, with me and esports, games come and go. It's a Sky Pirate JRPG. Interesting. Oh, dude, we have Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube. How can you forget those? Dude, these games, there are so many classics that still play well today. Like, I've played XD Gale of Darkness in 2020. That's how good of a game it is. That's a game I come back to. The Codename Kids Next Door game. I haven't played that one. Was Fusion Fall? Does anyone here ever play Fusion Fall? That was a game I wanted to get into, but I didn't have a computer at that point in time. It was the Cartoon Network MMO. But when I was into MMOs, I was into one MMO, and that was RuneScape. I have probably like 500 hours on RuneScape. I tried getting back into RuneScape last year. I played a bunch of RS3. And I was like, you know, this game sucks. What did I like about this game? Is you grind, and you grind some more, and when you're done grinding, you do some more grinding. That's what I don't think I could ever play. You know, it's like I don't know. I've become a very picky gamer. These days, it's like if I'm not playing a roguelike, what am I even playing? Like, I bought Tunic, I played it for like 4 hours. I might come back to it. I honestly might not. I'll probably beat it for the sake of beating it. Just because I bought it for $30, but... Dollhouse Sims. Well, as long as you're having fun with it. Like Warframe. I like Warframe too. I enjoyed Warframe. I have like 200 hours in Warframe. Gonna play as in Halo. Genshin, yeah. So this was my philosophy with Genshin. I told myself if I pulled a 5-star, I would play it in like my first 5 resets. I didn't, so I'm like, I'm not playing this shit. Meant to Genshin. No, but I just like calling it Genshin because the drop rates are so ass. Like exploring? Yeah, the Breath of the Wild system's fun. But like if I want a gacha, I want that adrenaline rush of the 5 stars, man. I played Pokemon Master Sex and Fire Emblem Heroes. And I'm willing to admit that I spent over $100 in both of those games. And that's why I don't play. I can't play gachas, man. They just sucker me in. The thrill of one more roll. Surprisingly, I hadn't spent any money at all on World Flipper. World Flipper is a pinball gacha, and the balls are your little waifus. But yeah, just a nice trip down. You can only afford one addiction? I know, right? What is... I need an addiction. I just need something to come home and play and just enjoy it. Right now, that's kind of Slay the Spire. Not a fan of gachas that immediately hit you gotta pay us now. Well, yeah, I feel you on that. World Flipper, you can get by free to play. I made it through the entire campaign free to play. We're gonna die. Same thing with Pokemon Masters. Pokemon Masters I spent a few dollars on. But it's like I get frustrated by not getting what I want. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going to spend money. And that's how they sucker you. That's how they sucker you in. That's exactly what they want to happen. And I'm like, yeah, I'm better than that. I was not better than that. So I had to just quit cold turkey. Because when I was playing Fire Emblem Heroes, I spent $20 for like 3 sets of pulls. And then, this was at like 1 in the morning too. And I just like looked at myself, I'm like, Matthew, what the fuck are you doing with your life? I was like, I don't even know. So I decided that, like, you know what, this is not worth my time, this is not worth my money. It's unsustainable, and I'm going to be spending a lot more on this when I should be putting it towards other things. Like moving out. I downloaded Fire Emblem Heroes 6 years ago. But no, that's the funny thing is, on my second pull of Fire Emblem Heroes, I got 3 5-stars. I got Perry, I got Camilla, and I got Lynn. And that was a red, a blue, and a green. I'm like, dude, my team's set. And I also had male Robin, who was also a 5-star in that game. You know what next? Warframe? I didn't spend any money on Warframe. I just traded a bit. I don't know if any of you know, but I used to trade on TF2 like a lot. In like my freshman year of college, that's all I was doing first semester. I was playing Dota 2, trading on TF2. It was one or the other. I wasn't playing any other game except for Black Ops 2. Didn't have the time to trade. Yeah, I had too much time in my hands back when I was a kid. I had way too much time. It's like, Matt, you could have spent your entire late teens and early 20s going out, forging relationships, both professional, romantic, and platonic. Did you do any of that? Absolutely not. I played video games. But did I have fun? Sometimes. Dude, I was watching a Northern Lion video. Northern Lion used to play Dota. I didn't know that. But he used to play like 3 hours of Dota like every night. And he's like, he took a step back and reflected. He's like, I was maybe enjoying myself 30% of the time. Some days it was 0% of the time. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, why am I getting so anxious and like anxious and like just mean? I don't try to hide this. I used to be a very bad person, and it was because of video games. Like, I took them too seriously. I still do, not to the same extent as before. But I used to take them way too seriously, and like I would just get mad at them, and I used to get mad at people, and that's and it didn't hit me until I was 22, maybe I was 23. But it wasn't until like a year after college that I stepped back and realized, like, dude, you are not going to have any fucking friends ever again if you keep this shit up. You know that, right? And then like, well, I gotta start acting my age, I guess. And I have been working on it. I've been working on it a lot, but sometimes it cracks through, and it's just like I feel terrible. Like I did it once in Fall Guys, I think either late last year or early this year, and I was like, I said something to my friend. Well, I wasn't making fun of him, but like it was pretty condescending. Like I was pretty not okay. And then I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I went too far. Like I noticed it immediately, and I was like, you know what, this is too much. Let's not. Like, I'm sorry, I apologize, I shouldn't have said it. I understand that I was heated, and this shit doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter. And it's just learning to let go and let games be. Playing the game should be the source of entertainment. Winning should not be the source of entertainment. That's what I need to realize. That is true. Winning isn't everything, and because like I place such a huge emphasis on it now, I'm just like, this is literally nothing to do with Pathfinder now, but we've strayed too far. But it's funny. I was asked not in an interview, but like on an interview screen, it's like, does competition bring out the best in you, bring out the worst in you? And it's on a sliding bar, a scale to 6. So like, 1 was best of us, 6 worst of us. I click 6. And I'm like, it brings out the worst of us, and I know that because it brings out the worst in me. When winning is on the line, I've just become a different fucking person. And it's funny. I was talking to my friends, and I was like, if I cloned myself 3 times and squatted up with myself, like if there was a squad of Warthlander and it was just me and 3 of my clones, would we either stomp every game so hard because we were so good, or would our collective egos be so massive that we would just implode upon ourselves? And I had this whole argument with myself. Like, this was a bit. This is 100% a bit. But I was having an argument with pretending to have an argument with clones of myself in War Thunder, and it was the funniest thing. And my friends were like, that is a legitimate conversation that I could see yourself having with your clones in War Thunder. I wish I recorded it. I wasn't streaming at the time, but I wish I recorded it because that would have been a clip highlight to like the end of time. My dad's home. He had to go into work today in the city. In the snow. It wasn't snowing that bad, but I think this was a productive session. I looked over Severing. I went over Destined, Barbarian. We got some work done there. I think next week I'm going to be streaming some Darkest Dungeon 2. Unless I figure out something else to think of. But yeah, I think we're going to call stream here. Thanks to everyone who came out. Really do appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. Past 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, I could tell that you definitely didn't just throw this together. Thanks for all that. Yeah, appreciate all you coming out. That was a lot of fun. We'll have to do this again sometime. But till then, see you next.